and welcome to the Tiny Human Knits podcast, my podcast all about knitting, sewing, crochet, cross-stitch, and all manner of crafty goodness. My name is Laura, and I'm coming to you from high-level Alberta, Canada, and it's been almost 2 months since my last podcast. I never intended it to take quite so long to start again, but some unforeseen circumstances have prevented me from filming anything, and it's just been a very stressful time. I will get into that more at the end of the podcast in the blather section, but for now I will get to a little bit of administrative stuff. As any people who have been watching this podcast for a while, and hello, welcome back, and hello to any new viewers as well. I'm hosting a hosting a knit along. Oh my goodness. It's been a while, sorry. I'm hosting a knit along in my Ravelry group, which you can find a link for down below, as well as links to all of my my Instagram and any sort of affiliated social media sites. I also have a link to my Etsy shop down below, but I have put that on vacation mode, and I will be keeping it on vacation mode until I believe August 12th. I'm not entirely sure if that is the right day, but yeah, so links are all down below. So in my Ravelry group, I'm hosting the Make From Stashalong, which started on the 4th of January and is going until the end of the year. And that is to make anything from your stash that was purchased before January 4th of this year. And it doesn't matter what it is, but you can put it in the Ravelry group. There is a chatter thread and a finished object thread, and the finished object thread, as I've mentioned many times before, is absolutely chock-a-block full of beautiful finished objects. And it's awesome to see so many people making things out of their stash. So that is going to be going until, like I said, the end of the year, and you can enter that. If you've made a bunch of stuff before and you haven't entered anything yet, you can enter it now, and it doesn't matter. Also, that's not just knitting, it can be crochet as well, because I do enjoy how much yarn crochet takes up, so you can enter crochet projects as well. And I don't think there's anything else to say about that. I am thinking about drawing another name for a winner out of that thread. That's kind of what I've been doing just randomly throughout the year. I've been drawing winners. And it has been a while since I've done that, since it's been so long since I've podcasted last. So I'm thinking of doing that again. And so if you would like to maybe win a couple of nice prizes, I might end up doing, I'm going to be putting a lot of kits into the shop in August. A lot of self-stripping yarns with coordinating bags, so I might do one of those as a giveaway prize. So if that sounds interesting to you, please enter that knit along. So as I've mentioned before on the podcast as well, I am part of a group called, online yarn festival that's called Not Rhinebeck. So that is an online festival that is going to be running at the same time as Rhinebeck in New York, for all the people who maybe can't go, or people who maybe are going and just really like to buy yarn from indie dyers and makers, and not just yarn, by the way. So that is going to be running alongside Rhinebeck, and I stupidly didn't write down when Rhinebeck was. I know it's in October, but anyway, so part of that group, we have decided to run a knit along. So as you might have seen before, there are many a Rhinebeck knit along going on around Rhinebeck. So a lot of people will knit their Rhinebeck sweater specifically for the event. So we wanted to do something that was very similar to that. So I have a list here of all the things that are going on with this, so I'm going to read some out to you. So it's already started. I meant to film this before and I just never got around to it, so I should have done an announcement. Again, just never got around to it. So it started on July 1st. Whips are welcome. So the rules are, it has to be a garment and it has to be for you. It has to be your festival sweater. So it doesn't matter what the weight is, doesn't matter what size needles you're using, as long as it is a garment for yourself. And see. So I'm going to list off all the makers that are involved in the Not Rhinebeck festival. So if you use anybody's hand-dyed yarn or a self-drafted pattern of an indie maker that's involved, you can enter it twice. And all you need to do is, when I open up a finished object thread, I already have a chatter thread, which I'll also link down below, But once you've have your finished object, you can just enter it into 2 posts. That's pretty much how I am going about it. So I have notes for like the first time ever. So very quick rundown of who's involved in this festival is Jody Brown of Mrs. Brown's Bags, Ellie of Scandier Knits, Natalie of Remembrances Pottery, Anne Tudor, she makes amazing blown glass stitch markers and progress keepers, Hawari Bazaar Yarns, Maria of Ninja Chickens, Knitography, Tristan of Dragon Hoard Yarns, Christy of Yarn Cafe Creations, Lauren Larch Designs, Cozy Posy Yarn Co., Dynamix Yarns, Makers Merch, Otherworldly Yarns, Grace of Babel's Yarns and Babel's Traveling Yarn Podcast. A lot of these people have podcasts as well. Rianne of Stitch New Bags, and Cindy of Mon Sheep Shop. And that is the list I have right now. I don't know if I could have found more. There's going to be a link down below to my Ravelry post about the event itself, and also, my kitty's yelling at me. There was a blog post made about it that I will also link to. So I will put all of the relevant information down below, so if you have any questions, let me know. And if you have any desire to look at some of these makers, I have the links to the Ravelry post that has all the links to their own shops. So that should cut down, you know, the searching for everything. And yeah, hopefully that was clear. So there's going to be a lot of prizes for that knit-along. So now that it's out in the world, maybe you can start planning what your sweater is going to be. I haven't 100% picked mine yet because there's a couple I'm trying to like sort of pick through, but we shall see. I'm not entirely sure yet. I think that's everything. I can put this paper away now. It's stressing me out. Alright, so I believe as far as administrative stuff goes, I have a couple giveaway announcements, or one giveaway announcement. I think I'll save that for the end though, because I need to organize myself a little bit better first. Okay, so it has been 2 months almost. My last podcast episode went up on May 21st. But I've hardly gotten anything done. I have not been in the mood to do much. I've had quite a few days that I did nothing, which really bothers me because I like being productive, but also you need to be kind to yourself and make sure that you're getting the rest that you need and all that other stuff. So my list of finished objects is not huge. I've only got three finished objects. So I guess the first one I think that I have finished was a pair of socks. I'm sorry if you can hear the wind, it's pretty breezy outside today. I believe this was a work in progress on my last episode, and it's a pair of socks for Farron, who was my husband. So these were knit out of my own hand-dyed self-striping yarn, which is a new thing to the shop, which I am enjoying immensely. So it is a 4-stripe. I really like these. And if they look kind of worn, it's because they are. They have been washed at least 5 times since I finished them. I didn't want to keep them just in my office for that long. So it's just a basic 64 stitch. I knit a great big tube, did a 2x2 rib, and then an afterthought heel in the same color as the last pair of self-striping socks that I had made for him. And then here's the other one. And I don't know, is there anything else I can say about that, really? The socks for him are pretty boring. I matched them up pretty closely. But yeah, I used my Addy Turbo Sock Rockets at 2.25mm, which is my standard. That's pretty... I've got now about 6 pairs of those, which is pretty exciting. But I use those, I would say, about 95% of the time, and then very occasionally, if I have a yarn that feels quite thin, I will use 2mm needles. And yarns like Turtle Pearls self-striping yarns, they have a tendency for me to feel quite thin, so I don't want to have anything that's too loose, so I will go down a needle size, but these were perfect, so I finished those. There was also another pair of socks for him that I finished in the Patons Kroy yarn in the Woodsie colorway, but they're not here. They have been removed from the house for the weekend for a camping trip, so I don't have those to show, but I don't even know if I have a finished picture of those. If I do, I'll put it up here. If I don't, I'll put up a work in progress picture here. So that is the first and second finished object. And my last finished object is the Breathing Space pullover by Vera Valimaki. It was on my Make 9 list, and I started and finished it since my last podcast because I was working on my Anishka sweater, and I don't know why, but I wasn't in the mood for that particular type of garment, so I cast on something new. So here it is. And I've knit this out of my own hand-dyed yarn. Hopefully you can see this. So the main color is After Dinner Mint, and then the stripy contrast color is my Fruit Loop colorway. And I knit it out of my 100% non-superwash wool, and I absolutely love the space. It's so soft and warm. I find it's very warm, especially compared to a superwash merino with nylon. It has a tendency to be, it feels warmer. So I didn't make it quite as long as the pattern because I have a very short torso. So anything that's really long looks really wonky on me because my hip bone is like way up high. So it looks funny if it goes too far down. So I made it maybe about 2 inches shorter. And I think I did the medium size, but I probably went down a needle size, knowing me, because I always do that. I like densely knit garments. And then the sleeves are 3/4 length, or maybe just elbow length. You know, it's been a while since I've worn this, I'm not entirely sure. The problem is I make things like this and then I don't have any like bottoms to go with it. I don't have nice jeans or like a nice skirt. I actually just wear dresses all the time. So I need to go pants shopping for this. But the pattern is really lovely. It's got short row shaping and the stripes that are off. You can all see that. It's fine. I'm trying to remember if the twisted rib was part of it. I think it was. I really should just take the pattern out somewhere, but anyway. I really, really enjoy it. It's lovely. It is filled. I have a tendency to associate like how I'm feeling with what I'm working on at the moment. Like I've got pairs of socks that I know exactly how I was feeling when I was making them. So this project is a little bit sad for me, but it's also really pretty. So I might end up having to make it again one day, just to have some new memories sort of knit into a garment. So that is my third and final finished object. That is all I've done. Which, I shouldn't say that that's not a lot. It's not a lot for me. I know, like, I'm blessed with many a knitting hour in my life, so, like, what I can finish is not exactly what a lot of other people have time for. Okay. Alright, in the world of works in progress, there are not as many as I thought there were. I thought I had like a million things on the needles, but for some reason I can only think of 3. So, I'll start off with another pair of socks that I'm making. It's like howling outside. I am knitting myself a pair of socks, finally for me, out of some more Patons Kroy yarn that I have. That's just that right here. And this is called the Brown Rose Marle. And this is yarn I've had in my stash for quite a while. I bought it when I was in Edmonton time before last, I think. And I really enjoy Patons Kroy yarn. It's actually one of my favorite for socks for myself because they're very densely knit, because the yarn is kind of like a thick, it's a heavy fingering weight. And I really enjoy that. So when I'm knitting it, it's just really pleasant. It's really woolly. So I've got the first sock up to the point where I can put in the ribbing. And I just did a normal, I think it's 56 stitches, Flegel heel turn. And then I just did as much as I could until, because for me, usually one of the balls of the 50 grams of the Patons Kroy, I can make 2 exactly matching socks. So I pretty much just knit it to the point where I was getting to the same point as it was at the bottom. So I can cast on, and then I cast on for the second one, so they match perfectly. And I've done this with a couple pairs of this Patons Kroy, so I know you can do it. It's exactly 2 repeats of the same color repeat. So I've got that, and this is, I'm very casually knitting on it. I've been taking it to work with me, and I've pretty much only been knitting it at lunchtime, so I haven't really gotten a lot. And it's also like if I ever go out, we had a union party at work the other day where they had a bonfire and snacks, and I took that with me just to have something to work on so my hands weren't idle. And I'm holding that in one of my handmade bags. It's floral, of course. And I'm actually holding 2 projects in this bag because they're both my at-work knitting projects. So the other one I have in here is called the Itty Bitty Pretty Sweater. And that is by, let's see, I don't know what that was. Let's find the actual front of this thing. Oh, this is a problem with double siding. Alright, and that's by Mason Dean. I hope I'm saying that right. Brooklyn, New York. So this is what it looks like, the pattern. And it is a baby sweater. And that is, I'm knitting this for my cousin Kayla because she announced recently that she was having her first baby. She's going to be having her baby in December. So since it's December, I could make newborn things, but I also wanted to make something that the baby could wear a little bit more. So I'm making the 1-year size in this pattern so that the baby can wear it next year. And if it's too big in the winter, it doesn't matter. It's fine. So I am working on that. Here it is. It is so cute. So it's a raglan top down. I hope that's right. Raglan? I think so. And it's got the ribbing, and it's got this beautiful lace. And let me tell you, this lace is very easy. There's no chart, it's only written, but it's very, very simple. And it's very easy to see where you are. So I am almost done the ribbing at the bottom. I've got maybe about 1/4 of an inch left before I can do the bind off, and then I'll be working on the sleeves. And I am using leftover yarn from my my Zweig. So this was the top portion of my Zweig, and I think it's super cute. Hopefully my cousin does too. I'm going to be making a few things for her and her baby, but I feel like this is a pretty gender neutral color. I don't know, they're probably not going to be finding out the gender, and I don't know if she's very particular. I don't think so, but just in case. So I made that. It's so cute. I love this pattern. It's really well written and very easy. So right now I've got that on 3mm for the ribbing, I think. Pretty sure. And this is going to use less than 1 skein of yarn, which is one of my favorite things about baby garments. Because I've got a lot of like single skeins that I didn't really have a plan for, and now I have something to use them for. I also want to start a couple scrappy blankets soon. Because I've got a lot of leftovers just hanging out. Okay, my last work in progress, and I am very ashamed to say that I haven't worked on this for a while. I've been working on a lot of other things, but it is my Anushka sweater, and I am knitting this out of Knit Picks palette, and let's see. Okay. All my tags are in here and I can't find the other one. Finley. Okay. So I'm knitting it out of Brass Heather. This is Knit Picks palette. And this is Finley Heather. So I've been working on this sweater for a while. It's taking me quite a bit, but I'm also not in a rush. I also will say too, I may have made a terrible error, but we'll see. We will see. I finished the body. Here, I'll show you instead of just blathering and being sad about it. Okay, so here is this beautiful, gorgeous, lovely, wonderful sweater. It is a top-down colorwork yoke. That's the body. It's flipping over. It's on itself. And this colorwork is delightful. It is so pretty. And I really enjoy the way that the palette yarn feels when you knit it up. It's very woolly and just squishy. Probably not the best for people who are sensitive to wool, but also if you build up a wool tolerance, it's not bad at all. So I finished the body a while ago, and then I'm working on the sleeves now, which is easygoing. It goes quite quick. But I tried it on, and it's pretty small. I have gauge, and I checked the pattern, but it's pretty small. So I'm not going to make any judgments on it yet, because it might block out to be a lot more relaxed. But, okay, and I should say, where it's small is right here. Because I have noticed that because most knitting patterns are measured by your bust measurement, and I have a very small bust. I'm quite narrow, up until here I'm quite narrow, and then I really widen out at the bottom. There's about a foot of a difference between my waist and my hip measurements. But, so I pick sizes by the bust measurement, which I'm finding the more I make them, circular yoke sweaters don't fit. They don't fit me in the shoulders because of the discrepancy between my bust and my shoulder measurement. So what I'm going to have to remember to do from now on for sweaters in the future is pick a larger size for the top down until I separate for the sleeves, and then like do a decreasing type situation for the actual body of the sweater, because it's just not working out as well. Like my my Bistort sweater that I knit earlier this year, the 4-color colorwork. That one fits everywhere except like right here. So I'm just gonna have to keep that in mind. I'm thinking of selling that sweater if anyone is interested. I'll be posting it probably soon because I know I'm never gonna wear it. It's just never gonna fit me. Which, you know what, I knit so many sweaters, I'm not really too bummed about that. I know I can knit another one, but I will be selling that, as well as my wedding dress that I knit myself that will also be going for sale. If anyone is interested, feel free to message me if you want to know how much it'll cost or what the sizing is like. Just let me know. But I'm still gonna finish this, because if it doesn't fit me, I know many a tiny person it will fit. I've got a couple options. My friend Taryn, she's a tiny little thing, so she would be able to fit into this perfectly fine, as well as my friend Elise in Edmonton. She's very tiny. So Elise, you might be getting a sweater. Merry Christmas? Maybe? I don't know. We'll see. The color would suit you. This brassy. So that's kind of being worked on slowly. Again, I'm not stressing about it. And we will see what I can do with blocking. But that is living in another floral project bag of mine, because, again, all my bags are floral. Because I'm an 80-year-old woman on the inside where it counts. And I think that's all I'm working on. I think it's just because I've been buying patterns so much lately. I feel like I'm working on more, but I'm not. Yeah. By the way, I just realized I never mentioned I am wearing the So Faded by Andrea Mowry, knit in entirely yarning apart yarns, which I love. I love this stuff. Again, I don't really have anything nice to wear on the bottom of it, so this is why you can only see the top half of me, so it's fine. So I've got a couple of acquisitions, not even that much, as far as I can recall. I really hope I haven't forgotten any acquisitions. I want to showcase people's stuff. I don't think so, though. I think it's just mainly the two. So, quite a while ago, Molly, the Homespun house, was moving. She has moved now. Sorry, it's going to be really crinkly. I should have done that before. So she was having a sort of a sale on her products. She was having like a surprise thing. You could pick your base, pick like a mini skein set, a sock set, or just a single skein of fingering weight yarn. And it would be a mystery, which for some reason appealed to me so greatly. So I ordered it. I ordered a single skein, but she sent me a single skein and a mini skein, which is really cute. So I got this in the mail quite a while ago, actually. And it is, honestly, like the name itself would have sold me on whatever color it was, but she sent me these two skeins of yarn. This was my surprise set. And this main color is called Fluent in Sarcasm, and then it's on a plump BFL fingering weight base. And then there's the mini skein, which is very, it coordinates. It's the same tone, and so it's really pretty. And it's really nice. Probably make myself some socks out of that. Some cabled socks, I think. Or lace, maybe. I have been wanting to make myself some nice camping socks, and BFL I think would work really well for that. So I need to put that in my stash now. It's been sitting in a bag beside my desk for like 2 months. So that was my first acquisition. And my second acquisition came in the mail not too long ago. I'm going to take one out because I finally got my greedy little hands on some Dragon Hoard yarns, because I have been eyeballing her yarn like, you know, a dragon. Haha. For quite a while. And I got myself Fairy Ring because I've wanted it for a long time. And it is on her lower base, which is 8515 superwash merino and nylon. And look how pretty that is. It is so pretty. It is, I think it's a rather plump fingering weight, which will work just fine for me, but the colors in there are so pretty. So I got myself 2 of those. 246 yards for 100 grams. That's a very plump fingering. I like a plump fingering though. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. So I ordered these 2. These are the 2 that I ordered that I already have hair on. I literally just took them out of the bag. So I ordered these, and she sent me 2 extra skeins in the pack. One was for me to keep, and one was for me to give away. So she sent, let's get my hands in order here. These are the 2 that she sent. This one is Spring Awakening, and this one is Sea of Monsters. And I'm keeping this one because it's beautiful. It goes with a lot more of the stuff that I have in my stash. And look at that. That is just lovely. So I am going to be giving away this skein of yarn, and I think I'm just going to have just a Ravelry sort of thread giveaway in there. So I will link that down below. I don't know what the prompt will be, but if you are interested in winning this beautiful, luxurious skein, I will have the link for that down below, and there will be a prompt, and you will answer the prompt, and then you might win this, and I'll draw the next time I podcast. Just look at that. I love anything with a little bit of a coppery sort of like hidden speckle. But I was thinking these go together so well. I might have to double check. Oh. Well, I'd have to do a gauge swatch, that's for sure. I'm not entirely sure what I'll make with them. Even like a stripey something would be nice. Stripey something would be real nice. Anyway, I'll figure it out. So that was my second acquisition. It's beautiful. I'm so excited. I love it. I also love how hard her winding is. So those can go in my stash now. I also, after, I've been knitting my Anushka for so long, because it's taken me forever, but I've been really enjoying working with the palette yarn that I did order a bunch of colors in the palette, pardon me, as well as some plain white, so I'm going to be making a lot of stuff. Maybe some sweaters, mittens, hats, I don't know. I have been considering a lot of stuff. I would like to sell a few pre-knit sort of accessories, but we'll see. I haven't planned anything too solid yet. So I said before that I had closed my shop for a bit. It's going to be reopening in August, but it is going to be reopening with a gigantic update. And I thought I might show you guys a couple of the things that will be going into the shop. So I said before I'll be making some kits. I have five planned out so far. I only have 3 of them sort of available to show. But the first kit, and I think I'm going to have 4 of these in the shop, it's going, just pull this out of my hand, it's going to be this Harry Potter bag in the sock sack size. Say that 10 times fast. So it is a beautiful Harry Potter fabric. I'm sure you've all seen this before. And it's got a lining of this beautiful gold polka dot. And to go with that is going to be this skein of self-striping yarn. Hopefully you can see that. So it's a 4-striper. It has got a deep red, a black, a sort of, I don't want to say coppery, tarnished gold. Then there's also a sort of tarnished silver as well. It's not like a, yeah. Anyway, I'm getting so distracted. And then I have, these are pretty similar, these 2 sets, but they're both these. Goldilocks and the 3 Bears fabrics. And there's going to be a set with this lining, 4 of each of the pink and the blue in this lining that are going to have an 80-20 high twist, and then 4 that have a pink, this fabric here, 4 of each of those that are going to have an 80-20 plush sock. So the lining looks like that on all the bags. And then with the pink one, it is this self-striping here with the coordinating sort of pucey yellow mini skein. And then with the blue, it is this gorgeous sort of cool toned self-striping with this same coordinating mini skein. And I'm thinking with the other set with the different yarn, I might be picking a different color for the mini skeins, but I'm not entirely sure yet. So those are 2 of the other kits. And then I also have some other self-striping yarn that I'm just going to preview to you now. So I've got Windbreaker, which is a wonderfully neon self-striping with a pale gray and a slightly darker gray interrupting the really, really bright stripes of color. And then I also have, this one was pretty popular on Instagram, and I'm really excited because I really enjoyed dyeing it. But this is Nearly Nautical, which has, it's a 2-striper with a lovely, warm, deep blue with a stripe of, it's got some orange, some pink, some gold, just a little bit of everything in there. So I'll have a couple of those. And then I also only have 2 of these. This is very springy. I haven't named it yet, but it's a very springy, like, neon stripes, and then just a nice, warm, sort of grassy green. And I only have 2 of these because I, like an idiot, didn't write anything down. But, and there will be loads more. That's just what I've made so far. I am working on the shop every day, trying to keep myself busy. There's going to be a lot of Notions pouches as well. And it'll be a big update. I'm gonna try to podcast 2 weeks from now, and then also right before the update, so I can show you everything that's going to be in the shop. So I think that's all I can show you about it right now, because everything else is sort of in the middle of being made, and kind of can't show you that if it's like random. Plus, yarn looks better when you wind it up. It's also very cute. Looks like little candies. So I've done finished objects, work in progress, shop, giveaway, knit-alongs. If anyone ever has any questions, please let me know. I can't remember if I've missed anything. But I think it might be time for blather. So I'm just gonna have a drink first. Okay, so it has taken me a long time, and I've wanted to podcast so badly, but it's just, I knew before every time that I would even try, it would turn into just a shit show, for lack of a better word. And I'm gonna warn you now, I might curse. I don't know if I'll be able to stop myself, but if you follow me on Instagram, but I don't think I've posted anything about it on my main Instagram, but if you watch my Instagram stories, you will know that my husband has decided to let me know that he doesn't want to be married anymore. Not in those words. His words were, I care for you, but I don't love you. So, yeah, we're getting a divorce. We have been officially separated for about a month now. I'm still living in the same house. We're still living together. There's no... I haven't cut his brakes yet, as much as I want to. We're coexisting medium okay. I'm finishing out my season at the Fire Center, and then I'm planning on moving to Calgary. So that is about 10-11 hours drive away. But I'm moving there with a cousin of mine who's going to school, and so I'm hoping to move in September, early September. So I'm working towards that. With my job, if they do need me to be extended, I will probably do that because it's really good money. So, yeah. Yes, kitty. Yeah? I'll let her in. Do you want to come in? Yeah? Yeah. If anyone's wondering, Shrimp is coming with me. She's my baby. She loves me best anyway. And I just remembered that I have the window open, there's no screen in here, so I'm going to put her out because otherwise she's actually going to jump out the window because she's done it before! Let's go out. Okay, so I don't even know what I was going to say about this. I'm a pretty open person. I don't like to be cryptic about anything. But, it blindsided me entirely. I didn't expect it at all. I know, like, every relationship has its issues, and honestly, my biggest issue was his lack of communication. Which, honestly, they don't just say communication is key because it sounds nice. That is actually how relationships work. You have to talk to each other. and my husband was never particularly good at the emotions, but the fact that he did this right after I finally felt that we were getting to a place where we were comfortable. Like, we had just moved into this house, it's, we bought it, it's a lot cheaper than all the other places. I was finally getting to the point where I could pay off a lot of my, my debts and get the shop to a point where it would be really easy to continue over the winter while working the seasonal job. So, and just the fact that we've moved 6 times for him specifically, and yeah, it feels like we were finally comfortable, and now I'm having to readjust my entire life again. Also, if anyone wants to be really mad at him, I can tell you that he did it over text message, so there's that as well. And it's a lot to take in. He was my first boyfriend. I had never dated as a younger person. I was never interested in dating. So we started dating when I was 24, and it's just been, when you're with someone you think is going to be with you forever, yeah, it was hard to do anything else. It took a while. It took me about a month to actually give a shit about anything else. Everything in my life suffered from it. My knitting, my desire to do anything. But, yeah. I have had such amazing support, though, from so many people on Instagram and so many people in my life that is really heartwarming. But, yeah, it's just another part of life, I guess. So hopefully my podcast can get back to normal and the shop will reopen, and that'll be a lot of fun, so it's keeping me really busy. But yeah, I'm gonna try to podcast again in 2 weeks. I'm gonna try to have a couple more things to talk about. I can feel castanitis coming on, so I wouldn't be surprised if I have quite a few things next time. But we'll see how it goes. And yeah. Can't remember if there's anything else I need to talk about. I honestly can't. If there was, please let me know, and I'll add it to the next podcast. But I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I hope the weather's nice where you are. It's very dark and cloudy and gloomy right now, but I'm actually really happy about that because it has been really hot the last week. Hot for me. I should preface that. Hot for me. So I'm going to go and get some dinner and edit this podcast and then do some shop work after that. So maybe watch a few podcasts because there's a couple good ones that came out. So if you have any questions about knit-alongs or anything that I'm making that you want to have like resources for, please let me know, and thank you so much for watching. Love you all. Bye!